Hello, and welcome to our His Dark Materials discussion and review. How are you, Eimear?
I'm well, thank you. How are you, James?
Very well, very well. First of all, we will give a disclaimer. There is a baby with hiccups sitting on my knee. So if you hear little hiccups, that's what it is.
Yeah, apologies. We really can't do much about that at all.
Yeah, if he's got hiccups, he's got hiccups. But he said to us, no, you just go ahead.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me. Get this filmed.
Very thoughtful child.
Very thoughtful. Very smiley child. Very thoughtful child. Just he's gonna have to suffer through these hiccups, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
None of us like having hiccups.
No.
Anyway, this was the season finale. So before we get into it, I just wanted to say thanks very much for everyone who was following along with these videos. Eimear and I had really good fun doing them.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing another series in the future, hopefully. It's not going to be something that we do every week forever, but there's if another series comes up that we want to cover, we will. If not, season 3 of His Dark Materials.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Yep, exactly. So all's in the future. If there's a show that you think you would like to get our perspective on, you could let us know, and then maybe we'll do that in the future. But thanks very much. If you could hit the like button, that is a lot of help. And if you could click the subscribe button, if you haven't subscribed already, that'd be great. Right. Well, Eimear, the finale. First thing I'll say, for 3/4 of this, it didn't feel like a season finale to me.
I would agree with that. It was a very slow-moving episode, but as you rightfully said just before we hit record, the last 10 minutes really made up for it. It was really kind of slow-moving, and then bam, here's all the action in 10 minutes.
Yeah, the last 10 minutes made up for the rest of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I've been going back and forth on this Grumman. What's his name?
Yeah, Grimmin, yeah.
No, what the
Joffrey.
Joffrey. Yeah, Joffrey. That's what I should have remembered. Yeah, Joffrey. I was going back and forth on Joffrey all season. If I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
And I was because I'm going to start right at the end, right? But I was very pleased to see that actually he did care for his son. Like, that's something I was going back, because with parents in this show, you never know. Like,
That's true, yeah.
And I was going back and forth, and this is a parent who's been away from his son for so long, and he couldn't. I do believe now that he just couldn't get back. Like, I do believe that.
Yeah, I mean, you can. Well, he didn't have the knife or anything like that. You can see. You could imagine that he stumbled through a window and couldn't find it again.
Yeah.
And perhaps through several windows. I believe the character as well. I do believe he couldn't get back, and he regretted it, and at one point just made a decision. It's been long enough now that I just have to start living a life.
Yeah, and he sacrificed himself for his son, so that's biggest sacrifice a parent could make. And I thought that was a lovely, lovely moment, to be honest with you. I liked how Will was skeptical of his father, because I was skeptical of him. Let's be honest, but made complete sense.
It says a lot about Will's character that he's very strong. He didn't just let all his hopes and dreams just burst forward, and it's very adult of him.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying the whole season, is that he's cared for his mother all these years, and he didn't stop caring for his mother even though he saw his dad again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though he got what he wanted, he was still his mother was first thing in his mind.
Yeah, exactly. Which was really lovely, really. I thought it was an excellent performance by the both of them. Particularly Will was really good. Really believable anguish from him there. It was very captivating. I did believe that he was holding those feelings for his lifetime, because there was a real good mixture of, joy at finally meeting his father, followed by, where the fuck were you, basically?
Yeah. And also, again, protecting his mother and stuff. And I was impressed by the actor in this. He's taken till this time to win me round, to be honest with you. But I'm one round on him now. I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing where that character goes. It's interesting that Lyra and Will are separated now.
Yeah. What did you think of that? Did you see that coming?
No, I didn't, because obviously the witches and everyone's saying that he needed to be with Lyra as part of the prophecy. So now that they're separated, not to mention Lyra is just in a trunk, going to Hogwarts, I assume. So I don't know what the hell's going on there.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by the last 10 minutes of this episode. Just was like, it's like the whole thing is just like a really slow thing. Lots of gunshots, really slow, random monsters, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then all of a sudden, it's like in the last 10 minutes, like, okay, we have to give some cliffhangers / set everyone up for what their story is next year. So here's 10 minutes, bang, 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 bang. It couldn't have been that quick in the book, it couldn't have been. It couldn't have been like if it was that quick in the book. We're talking about everything in the last 10 minutes of that episode happened in 15 pages.
Yeah.
No way.
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, that was really quick, the way they put everything together at the end there.
Yeah. I guess they're exploring character more than story, I suppose.
It did not make sense, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's no way I've talked, like, in terms of the plot of the show, there's no way I could have predicted where like the pieces were going to end up at the end.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what do you think Mrs. Coulter's gameplay is here?
Well, obviously she's going to try and prevent the fall of Eve, because I think she fully believes that the authority and the magisterium are the way. This is the way. So therefore she genuinely views the fall of Eve as in Eve using her free will to eat the apple and betray God. Basically, she views that as a proper sin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's proper fundamentalist. Like, she's like, Eve was a bad person for doing that. And I think that most people in the world these days, when they read the story of Adam and Eve, I think they're probably on Adam and Eve's side rather than God's side, to be honest with you, unless you're like a fundamentalist, really, really super religious person.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's what Mrs. Coulter is. Like, she believes that Eve, the fall of Eve was actually...
She dared question the authority, as it were.
Well, she believed that the fall of Eve, it was, that was a sin worthy of killing Jesus on a cross.
Yeah.
As if I don't know how you could believe that, but that's what she believed.
Yeah. So you reckon her gameplay is just
to hide her away?
Just put her in a bubble, basically.
She's in a box. She's in a box already. I don't know, like, if she's given her chloroform or something. Like, she's got her asleep somehow.
Yeah.
And I think she's just gonna keep her in a box.
Part of me was a little bit sad we didn't get to see Will's reaction at his mess up. To see him return to the scene, to find that Lyra had been kidnapped and that the witch had been eaten, her soul or whatever had been eaten by the specters, and basically that because he wandered off, things had gone tits up. I kind of would have wanted to see that, but I guess it makes sense that they let us, his final sort of impact he left with us this season was the closure he got from seeing his father.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, exactly. Like, he's gonna kick himself when he finds out, obviously. And then obviously the witch that was with Lyra also got spected.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Oh, you did, yeah. So there was no protection whatsoever.
No.
One thing I found was interesting was Mary Malone's storyline in this season, because it sort of didn't really have an end.
We're only halfway through her character arc.
Yeah, she's just been sent on her journey. So that's interesting that they're actually spanning, like, she is in the second book, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're actually, like, the Philip Pullman is spanning her story, like, her arc over the two books.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
I mean, definitely I would say it is a trilogy, but definitely it's sort of a story of two halves. It's like book one is part one of the story, and books 2 and 3 are part 2 of the story.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Like, the first one was really good, and then the second two are like, they are made at the same time, basically.
Yeah.
It's like it's like Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like it could have been left at book 1 or part 1.
Yeah.
But they just decided to keep going.
Yeah, like the Golden Compass, that could have been it.
Yeah, it could have been.
I mean, obviously there was open questions, but not every film closes everything. But all right, yeah. So Mary Malone, I'm looking forward to see where she goes next season. She has got to come into contact with Lyra in some form or fashion. It's interesting, though. It seems that Mrs. Coulter is going to go back through to her own world. I imagine when Mary Malone goes to the top of the mountain, she'll see the portal that Azrael created.
Yeah.
She's going to go through. That's what I imagine is going to happen, and she's going to she's going to team up with Will, maybe. And then they're going to go and spring Lyra free. One season doesn't seem like a lot of time to do the whole Azrael war thing and get Lyra, and bring her into that storyline. It doesn't seem like a lot of time to me. Yeah. So I would imagine Lyra's going to get sprung for Mrs. Coulter pretty early in the season.
Okay. What did you think of that? On that note, you brought up Azrael there. It was nice to see him finally after a season of silence. What did you think
I think
of
5
that?
minutes before the end, I started saying to you, Azrael must be in the third a lot, because he's not been in it. So I started actually talking about Azrael just before he came on screen, funny enough.
Yeah. My question to you was, what do you think of that appearance of him and him shouting at the angels, and the angels appearing and saying, "Yes, we're with you, Azrael." What did you make of that?
That's my immediate reaction was, what the hell's going on? Because I, d- I don't get it, because if the angels are with Azrael,
Yeah.
that means that they're against the authority, which is God, obviously, I think.
Yeah.
So if they're against that, the angels are against that, then that means that it's just one person or one thing, God, the authority, that they're going up against. Like, I don't really understand what they're going up against.
Well, he did mention that he wants to build a republic of heaven.
Yeah. So it's a dictator.
Yeah. So it's
No, I understand that. It's
yeah.
But who else is in heaven? You know what I mean? Like, so the angels, is it just like normal people in this place called heaven, and there's a dictator of heaven that's the authority, that's God, and the angels are just magical beings within that world, like the witches are in Lyra's world? Is that what it is? Like, because in my mind, everyone that was in heaven was an angel. That's what I thought.
Oh, I would have said that in this world, angels are separate beings. It's not like you become one when you die, because they talk about...
Yeah, so they're like witches of heaven.
Yeah, because the witches actually talked about at one point saying, well, angels haven't revealed themselves for thousands of years.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Okay, yeah, I do.
So they're like known beings.
But this makes me think then, is the heaven that we're going to see actually going to have people who die in the heaven? Like, are we going to see Joffrey again in heaven?
Well, I'm going to obviously not answer that.
No, I know that, but that's where my head is at the minute.
Yeah,
because
I think your head is in the right place.
Yeah, like obviously you're meant to be thinking like these things.
Yeah.
Because is the only way to get into heaven to die? So maybe like if Azrael wants to take the fight to heaven, he has to die to go to heaven.
Also, and what maybe you want to ask yourself, what has the authority done that so many angels are turning against him? It's essentially a civil war is what we're looking at.
Of course, yeah. Like I'm thinking now in terms of like the Bible story of Adam and Eve. Mm-hmm. So what has the authority done? I'm not sure. Is it like well, if you think about like if you think about like in terms of like in 1984 or something. Yeah. Right, and like a dictator, like they
Big Brother,
a fascist dictator or whatever. They take away people's like sort of
civil liberties.
Yeah. And obviously that could be viewed as taking away their free will.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe that's just what it is.
What do you think Philip Pullman's comment on it is? Like, what's he saying overall? There's no right answer to that. I'm just wondering.
Well, I've been developing this as I go. I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, not fully sure yet. I know that it's like a role reversal in that the sort of the things in the Bible that are meant to be good, are actually bad in this show. Did they say the specters were demons? I don't know. I don't think that was specified. I don't think they are demons, but because I would imagine. Well, no, the demons. Sorry, we know the demons are. They're the souls. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything's been flipped on its head. So I wouldn't. To be honest with you, I wouldn't have been surprised if the dictator of the authority, the dictator was called Lucifer. Like, wouldn't even surprise me. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, it's. I don't know what the overall comment is. Obviously, it's very anti-religion, very very pro thinking for yourself.
Yeah, pro critical thinking.
Yeah, critical thinking. But I'm gonna reserve like overall judgment on that until I see the final season.
Yeah.
But I like the themes it's going into. I will say that the show Devs, which we've mentioned before, it's because of the way that the machine, and someone said in the comments actually that the machine was actually it's based on a real scientific apparatus like machine from real life.
That makes sense.
And so both shows just base their thing on that, right?
I wonder what that is.
Yeah, I should have really looked up the comment before we started, but yeah, but that's what they said. But basically, the show Devs is like really on the nose with their metaphor. I'm not going to go into it for spoiler reasons, but they're really on the nose with their metaphor to the point where in the last sort of half an hour, they kind of just explain what the whole metaphor is. Yeah. And it really took me out of it, to be honest with you, in a big, big way. And that's a show that I was really, really enjoying. And I would still look back on it and think it's really good. It has a lot of merit, that show.
Yeah, I enjoyed the show.
But in this, I'm not annoyed in the same way when they're literally just calling her Eve. And there's a heaven, and there's angels, and there's demons. I'm not actually that annoyed by how overt the metaphor is.
Yeah, I guess it's because it's not the exact same story.
Yeah, but also it's maybe as well because
together like
yeah, but also I think it's because it's like a big ripping yarn.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like a real like sort of arty trying to be really serious all the time. Like it is a big ripping yarn show with a message in it.
Yeah.
And I think it's easier to take it that way. Do you know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, there we go. Was there anything else we missed?
Not off the top of my head. Just again, my favorite part of our chats is where you think it's going next, and you know you've pretty much covered that.
You think?
Well, yeah, and that you don't know.
I don't really know.
But we've talked about some of the themes and some of what we expect to see.
Yeah, well, I do expect. I will say I do expect them to get Lyra out of Mrs. Coulter's custody very soon.
Yeah.
I don't know where Mrs. Coulter's storyline's going next. I don't know where like when I think about the end of the season, like where are we going to? There's going to be a big war. I don't know where Mrs. Coulter fits in there. Is she going to like become like Wormtongue or whatever you call him from Lord of the Rings to the Authority?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting that I think Mrs. Coulter, the more humanity she gains through her love of Lyra, the less sure she is herself.
Yeah.
Of where she's going. I think she's just now being led by instinct at this point.
She might see the fault of her ways. She might see the fault of her ways. Yeah, definitely.
Do you think there'll be a redemption, like a redemptive arc for Mrs.
I'm not gonna go that far. I mean, like she is a massive character.
Yeah.
You've told me before that she's one of your favorite characters in all of fiction.
Yeah.
I'm trying to glean from that fact whether that means she'll have a redemption arc or not. I would imagine she will in some form, and I think it'll be a tragic one. I think she'll maybe do one act and then die or something at some point.
Okay.
And that will sort of cement you in your mind thinking, oh, she came around at the end, but she still did a lot of horrible things.
Yeah.
But I don't think she'll get. I don't think it's going to end with like her living with Lyra and like.
Oh, you don't think it'll be happy families?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, that monkey.
No, exactly. No. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So there we go. Thanks very much, guys. We've really enjoyed talking about this show.
Yeah.
It's Eimear's favorite, one of her favorite books ever, and it's becoming one of my favorite stories ever because I love fantasy and I enjoy the world that we're in, or the worlds that we're in.
Yeah.
I really was expecting us to go to another world there at the end of this series, and I do expect us to go to other worlds in the future. If they don't, maybe that's why he's writing like the Book of Dust and all that, because he didn't explore as much worlds as he wanted to in this story.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, but I was expecting. I was expecting at some point, just like you know,
world hopping.
Yeah,
like interrailing, but through worlds.
You know at the start of Rise of Skywalker, how they're like sort of light speed skipping.
Yep.
And they're just like going boom, boom. I was expecting them at one point just will to be cutting portals everywhere and just run through. That's what I was expecting.
Oh, well, we have an entire series left.
I know.
So
Right,
never
okay.
say never.
Well, there we go. Right, guys. Sorry, I'll just be Will for the end here. Look.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Suits you.
Yeah.
That's a good hairdo.
Well, the silhouette would be the same. All right, guys. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
We'll see you next season. As well, we'll see you with other stuff. In the meantime, if you could like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. Apart from that, bye bye.